It's the Legends of Mythic community show where we talk about things you already know. When we watch Josh backpacking his monitor glow, and maybe wonder if he's not a little bit slow. And then there's Johnny Gravemaw, a moderate fool. Oh, excuse me. I mean the host. He's a tool. But we're not done yet. Here we go. And last but not least, the beautiful beard of Carl Chyshin, who's the sexiest bear. So if you're gonna watch this, then buyer beware. But don't worry, there's no need to be scared. Just sit back, relax, and try not to hurl, cause we are Mythic, the best guild in the world!
Hello, and welcome to Legends of Mythic, the Mythic community show. I'm your host, John, also known as Gravemaw.
I am Carl, also known as Chyshin.
And I'm James.
Yeah, with us today we've got James. He's our next guest. James, tell us a little bit about your character.
I play a troll priest, disc priest, named Zijen. I heal, obviously.
Fantastic. Well, we're here to discuss matters of guild interest as well as current events in the Tri-Server area, and this is our very fourth episode, and wow, we've got some big news for you guys later on. It's
gonna be scary!
Okay,
scary for me, that's the thing.
That's true. So James, you're the first guest once we've got a little bit of momentum on the show. How's it feel?
Oh, man. You saved the best for fourth, right?
Yeah, that's how it goes, definitely.
That's what Carl told me, that's why.
Yeah, that's why you're a fourth healer.
Whoa, that was a low blow, Carl.
Hey, bro, you said it yourself.
One heal in siege, bro.
Could be 7th out of 7. I'm 25 man.
There you go. Yeah,
So,
with your performance on Doc, too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I top Doc.
I don't know. Not when Alex was there. Just saying.
Oh my god. I was at 568 item level or something stupid like that.
That
And I
is
was still
stupid.
full of good numbers.
Why,
I know.
why would you only be 568? That's stupid.
Because you guys didn't funnel me gear.
So tell us a little bit about your experience with WoW, James. How long have you been playing, all that stuff?
Oh man, I kind of just started in January. I know my account was made in like December. I leveled a couple tunes with my friend, but basically I watched. I don't know if you know the streamer Tally, who raids for Death Jesters. Yeah, I was kind of getting like upset with League, and I was playing that kind of competitively, and I was getting upset with my performance. So I started watching Tally stream, and I was like, wow, I can be better than a lot of these guys in this game. And so I was like, I'm gonna be competitive, and I'm gonna play WoW. And I told my buddy who had played WoW before, but just kind of casually, and I was like, yo, I need to get to level 90 ASAP so I can get in a guild or raid. The goal was originally to raid for Blood Legion, but you know that kind of, we're gonna be better than Blood Legion, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's how I started. Leveled a priest. Priest was my first tune I leveled because I knew I wanted to heal because I always like playing support classes. Basically,
if you like playing a healer, why not, or a support? Why a healer and not a tank?
Well, the way I looked at it was, I want to get into a guild that's really good, and I like tanking because I tanked on a paladin in vanilla. When I was like 6, or something. I just did it for fun. It didn't get it to max level or anything, but it's really hard, I think, to find a core tank slot on a good guild.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what my thought process was. Whereas healing is it's a lot of skill, and there's a lot of them. So you can you can outplay a healer and just be like, look, I'm better than the guy you have, or something like that. And that was my thought process.
That makes sense. So you jumped into WoW, you got up to 90.
Yeah.
Why'd you choose our server, and how'd you get into our guild?
Okay, so my first server was, I think, Mount Gannis. And I just did it. We looked up a huge server with decent guilds. Me and my buddy, and he was like, all right, you don't want to transfer, so we'll just start here, and we'll assume you'll get in a guild here. And I was like, all right. And then my buddy, who was in Alliance, convinced me to transfer over and raid with his guild. He kind of lied to me about how good they were. And so I was like, oh man, they sound really good. And I get over there, they weren't very good. So I was like, all right, I need to do my own thing because there's no one that's doing anything like even close to what I want to do. So me and my friends kind of basically picked Skull Crusher out of a hat, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go to Skull Crusher. I'm gonna make my own guild. We're gonna raid WoD 7 days a week, and we're gonna be the best guild on the server. And then basically that kind of fell apart, and I came to Mythic because I actually was planning on leaving to Illidan. I told Noah that I was like, yo, dog, we had a good time. I'm going to Illidan. I'm going to go find a guild there, and then I'm going to get on Blood Leech. And he was like, yo, wait, just talk to Carl before you leave. And I was like, fuck Carl, dude. I'm going to Illidan. and then he's like, yo, just talk to this guy for 5 minutes. And I talked to him, and it was like the first time I had talked to someone in the game who had like the same, like, yeah, we're going to fucking be good. Like, and I was like, all right, I can stick with this.
Carl was really excited when he first started talking to you. I gotta say. You
Yeah,
went on
no,
for
I was really
hours,
excited, too.
Carl, about this guy.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
fucking stoked.
It fit really well. Why don't you talk a little bit about your impressions of Mythic while you were in that other guild?
Oh my god, so first there's a lot of good stories with that, Carl.
All right. We
I
got
was
time.
well, first off, I was raiding. We planned on building a 25 man because like everybody now thinks 25 man is the way easier transition. It probably is into the 20 man. So we were like, all right, we have to do a 25 man, and it was really hard because we had like 12 core, and then we had like probably like 8 that were just always in and out, like never there, never, you know.
Yep.
And then we
Sounds
pugged
familiar.
like 3 more, and it was just like, so basically I was at the point I was like, yo, like I think it would be better to get a couple heroics under us at least, and then start recruiting, you know. So that was the plan. We moved to 10 man, and I picked the squad. I handpicked everybody. I was the only one. They didn't let the other raid leader do this because he was too biased. So I picked everybody, and so my healers were me and this other girl healer druid, and then I had to bench Asuna, who I had actually taught how to play Disc Priest. And so the night I benched Asuna, we started doing 10 man, and we cleared normal. And while we're kind of like wiping on Garrosh, Hellscream, normal, I just see Asuna pop up with like Heroic and Mercy. It's 10 man. I was like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way. And then I'm like, that's gotta be a bug. There's gotta be a bug there. And because at that point, like, she's a lot better than she was even back then. Like, she's come a long way.
Yeah.
And so I messaged her like, what are you doing? She's like, well, you said I could pug, and these guys asked for me to do a heroic with them. And I was like, really? And I was like, we were joking around. We were like, dude, they must be 5 healing that boss, because that's a lot of that. And then, well, then I met Shobi, and I kind of understood, you know, he's a good healer. So, but yeah, that was my first impressions of Mythic. And then she left to join you guys because obviously, you know, a core spot is way better than a bench spot, and she was doing heroics, so she left. And then that was the. And then I basically started spamming in trade. Not spamming, but I would occasionally joke in trade chat about how Mythic took our bench players. And I remember saying one day I would send any of my bench to Mythic any day. I was just, but yeah, obviously. And then some other guys, like Noah was before, obviously, but he just had a kind of like a fight with the other raid leader who was a huge dick. And he just kind of screamed at Noah one day for no reason. And, you know, Noah was like, dude, sorry, Joe Bono, but I can't take that shit. And then, same with Granoles, same thing kind of happened. The other raid leader, Trevor, kind of just went off on him, and he left. And then, I was just kind of done. Me and my buddy Fornax were the only people in there that were any bit decent, you know? So.
Interesting.
But yeah.
I don't remember how we got Noah.
It's don't see or don't hear opinions from outside the guild very often.
Yeah, no. When I was outside, I fucking hated you guys, dude. I don't know how Noah convinced me to join you guys' guild, because it was just like, these fucking guys are like, I trained Asuna from literally, she couldn't even raid LFR. I trained her to become a good Disc Priest, and then you guys just took her away. I was like, what a waste of my fucking time. Like, I was like, jeez, man. And then
We joked about that.
yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
too.
it worked out. Yeah, she was ridiculous.
We took like half your guild.
Yeah, I mean, the reason though,
And that's
big
not the
reason
first
was
time
'cause
that
our other
happened
raid-
either. We've taken other guilds too.
Yeah, no, but that's because you guys have a good environment. Where the environment we had was like, I was very hardcore, like in terms of like when I raid lead, I was very like bang bang bang. But the other guy, he kind of, the way I would describe him was he just liked to wave his dick around to make sure it was still there, you know? He would just randomly go off on people.
Legit.
And so, yeah.
Sounds
Probably
good.
my favorite story, though, about joining Mythic was the night I was on trial, and we were doing Nazgrim. It was my first time doing any heroics at all, so I'm like super scared, you know, like the shockwaves would have like blow up the whole room. Like I had no clue, and so we're doing Nazgrim, and I still have my recruiting macro
I remember.
from what's it called, Vocare. And I'd been whispering Johnny because he said for me to whisper him if I need gear, and I was whispering like, "Yo, I could use that, but you know, whatever." And I went to turn with my mouse, and instead I accidentally clicked the action button like 10 times. I literally spammed Johnny my recruiting macro like 10 times. It was ridiculous. And I stopped the whole encounter. I was like, "Yo, I promise you that was not troll. My bad. Like, don't kick me out of your team yet." I was like, "God damn." That shit was funny.
I just laughed. You're lucky I'm
Yeah.
so laid back.
Yeah, no, like I feel like if I would have said that to Carl, I'd be like, "This motherfucker," like. But that was probably one of the most embarrassing things I've done in this game.
That was pretty good. I do remember that.
I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah. All right, let's jump into State of the Raid, Carl. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in that raid environment.
Wow. So there's a lot. We've gone from 25 to 10 again. Back to 10, yeah. Just because people just stop fucking logging in. That's really the best way to put it. Even our 10-man, like we had probably 17 people, you know, so we were kind of in between. We're like, should we recruit back up to 25? Should we cut down to 10 and leave this many people on the bench? But we've literally had, except for the first day, maybe 12 people that could have raided
crazy.
every time.
Yeah.
It seems like as soon as they announced Warlords was coming out,
Everyone's
and when
gone.
it was, everybody's just gone. So I don't.
So sad.
I mean,
No
I
more
guess
suspense.
that's just
There's no more suspense holding on everyone in.
right, and I guess that's just a thing that everybody's got to deal with. I feel sometimes I take it personally when I shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it feels like, why the fuck is everyone leaving?
Yeah.
We got a good raid environment, we're doing well, but I really think there's probably nothing we could have done.
I want to talk
But-
a little bit about how we came to that decision to switch back to 10 man.
yeah, we can do that. And I also assume that once 6.0 comes out, a lot of those people will be right back.
Yeah, because that's going to be a huge change. Like, any raider who's any good, in my opinion, 6.0, you have to test it, or else you don't. You can't expect to be anything in progression if you're not even, like, looking into 6.0. Like,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So we'll have a lot of fun stuff with that, and some competition, hopefully, with our raiders.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hopefully we'll have Garage by then. The Siegecraft are 9% tonight.
9%.
9%, yeah. And Swarley went up on that first belt. That's probably the 10% right there.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yep.
thinking today, but I didn't want to say it.
It happens, so.
Yeah, but I mean, pretty impressive that Zeke does that much damage, because I watched him. He really hits that thing
Oh,
up
that
there.
burst is ridiculous.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was insane.
But yeah, I think we should get him tomorrow.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's focused and ready to go, we should be good.
I'd be a little surprised if we didn't.
So
Yeah, I would too.
So yeah, okay, we can talk about our decision. And Johnny, you have any comments on that?
So what happened was we had everyone we had the 17 people or whatever for our 25-man raid, and that wasn't enough for us to do Siegecraft or progression, so we just kind of got everyone together and had a bit of a guild meeting, get together. Kind of talked about we told them about what the issue was, about how we obviously don't have enough people to do 25-man. What do we do about this? And we told them the options were to either go to 10-man and push progression hard, or focus on recruitment, stay 25-man, and maybe never kill Garrosh this expansion. And the 17 people or whatever that were there, we just had a nice, pretty long discussion about it, where everyone brought up their concerns and all that. I just think it was a really good way to handle it.
Yeah. We have somehow managed to toe the line, of having a hardcore raiding environment while still, keeping people happy and not screaming at their face. So, it should be said that we were really, really hesitant to go 10-man. We really didn't want to do it. We understood the implications Well, I mean, it makes sense from a raider standpoint that, okay, let's go 10, let's take our 10 best and just roll over the rest of the bosses.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we got to realize, from me and Johnny's standpoint, if we go 10-man, there's a possibility we lose those
someone.
7 people on the bench.
Yeah,
and then we can't go 20-man for Mythic, which is the entire point of this entire guild.
Oh, yeah.
And everything we're doing. So it was really a difficult decision for us, and I think the overwhelming feedback helped with that decision.
Virtually everyone was saying that 10-man was going to be the way to go. So,
Yeah.
Which is
Well, I
good,
know.
too, because that shows that we have the type of raiders who want to push progression and are willing to sacrifice for that, versus, no, I want to be in for every boss, and that kind of mentality that just gets you nowhere in the end. So... it's good.
Well, I think it was a good decision just because, you actually had me recruiting for a little bit, kind of like a 3-week stint. I was going out and I was really heavily trying to recruit, and right now, I feel like a lot of good players are out there. They're just looking for 14 out of 14, and it sucks. It's shitty. It's the wrong mentality. I agree, but I think having the 14 out of 14 will really attract another avenue of players.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
and that's what really everyone was saying, that it was going to be the best way to help the guild. And we really appreciate how everyone's been handling it, those people who've still been around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We've had pretty different looking groups for Siegecrafter these last few nights, and still have done really well against them. So
Yeah, the double warlocks though makes such a big difference. Like the nights we didn't have the warlocks, the damage was it was good, but it's so much better.
yeah,
Such a broken class. I can't believe it's ridiculous. It's almost as broken as Disc Priest. But
yeah.
Definitely up there.
Don't forget Bear Druids.
I mean,
but
I'm not sure if you're up there with Disc Priest.
how impactful? I mean, a Bear Druid, it's a tank, but how impactful is having 3 warlocks and 2 Disc Priests? That's retarded.
Oh, we had that for a while.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
we rolled 3 warlocks for a 10-man originally.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many, did we only have 1 Disc Priest? We had
No,
2 for a while.
No, we
we
had
had 3 but I always made the joke to Asuna that I was 2.5. But yeah, we had 3. That was
Well, that was
the other
25
healers
now.
kind of hated that. Yeah.
Yeah, the 4 other
Well,
healers,
Lexi
they never
and
got to heal
Shovey
anything.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, we so much absorbed. Lexi was just sitting there fuck.
Poor Lexi and Zach never got to do anything until Malkarok when they were top.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that was their one fight.
Yeah, except for when second specs for Holy and actually regened his gear for the progression fight, because now when he specs for Holy, since we've got the fight, he doesn't really regen and do all the reforging and shit. But when he actually went full into Holy for that fight, he was wrecking meters. I was damn, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he did real well.
Well, that's because Carl let him twice and he made me him once. That was bullshit.
Hell yeah, bro.
Carl, man,
You're bottom of the list.
got something out for me, man. I don't know what it is. I never get my bobs. I always get.
Hey man, Alex beat you in healing. That's all I have to say.
Oh my god.
There's my opinion right there.
Once you
I
have,
would wreck that guy now.
once
I'm
you
just saying.
once you have an Ascendance cooldown, when you get to be a god healer for a couple seconds, then you get a bop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna play in WoD. But if I'm playing healing, I'm probably gonna have 4 classes. Probably Druid, Chamois, Pally, and Priest. If I heal, that is.
Yeah, monks are looking pretty weak right now, so.
Yeah, I don't think I ever want to. The skill versus throughput of a monk just doesn't seem worth it at all, because I feel like it takes a lot longer to learn a monk than it would a shaman or a druid.
Yeah, it's, when Mistweaver is a way different way of healing than the other 4
Yeah.
healers. Way different.
It's very cool, but it's not even worth it to learn right now.
It's a little gimmicky. It's really strong in
Yeah.
PvP, but
Yeah.
Yeah. So, basic state of the raid is we're on 10-man. We had to re-progress through 10-man because the lockout was for heroic 25-man. So we had to do all the 10-man bosses again, which actually did not take as long as I expected it to. We pretty
Yeah, I
much
expected that
one-shotted.
to take a lot longer.
We pretty much one-shotted all of them except for Thok, which was the first time we'd fought 10-man Thok. So I'll take that.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And we YOLO healed it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
didn't
did.
even do cooldowns right. Yeah, that was impressive. I knew we could do it though, YOLO heal like that, just because we had 3 really strong healers, and it was kind of like a like, yo, give me a bop, and it would happen.
That's
So-
one thing that was really interesting that we mentioned talking about, Johnny, is the difference between 25 and 10 man.
Oh yeah,
And
we'll probably do a full episode on this sometime soon.
yeah, that's probably a good idea. It's crazy.
Now that we have so much experience on it, switching back and forth all this.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah,
that.
for real.
We've really handicapped ourselves,
I guess
unfortunately, but
the
there's
short
really
of it,
nothing we could do.
the short of it is, apart from the logistics side alone, because the logistical difficulties between 10 man and 25 man is night and day. Not even just in scheduling, but in things like cooldowns. In our 25 man, we had at one point 3 warriors and 7 shamans, all of which had offensive cooldowns that had to be coordinated.
That's 10.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
yeah.
that was insane. I remember that. Yeah.
And then it's just the logistical nightmare of 25 man.
Yeah.
It's nice to have all those tools, but using them optimally it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, with 10 man, like what I noticed on Thok, like when I did 10 man Thok, it was like kind of face roll because like literally you could take 5 minutes before the pull and just kind of set up your full cooldown rotation.
Yeah.
And then when we did 25 man Thok, I realized I told Noah this when we were progressing on. I was like, "Yo, we're actually not going to kill this boss until like the 6 people get into a room and just fill out a spreadsheet or figure out a way to do cooldowns perfectly." I said that like when we do that though, it'll take us like an hour to kill this boss.
And that's pretty
Because
much
that's how, like,
exactly what
insane.
happened.
Yeah, exactly. I told Noah that before. I was like, "Yo, we just need to get people on stacks or on a number car calls, and it's just going to be snappy." Like, because cooldowns on that fight are ridiculous.
That's pretty much exactly what happened after one night. I think it was second, and a bunch of other people stayed up. All right, sorry about that. We had a little bit of a glitch there. We're back now, and I think we were just talking about cooldowns in 10 versus 25. Yeah, Second Law and a bunch of others stayed up one night and put together a document. We just kind of steamrolled it the Monday after that.
That was like a 3-hour night. I was up for that. That
Yeah,
was
it went on
that took
forever.
a while.
There's a lot to it. I was
Really
exhausted.
min-maxed that document.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it
then
was
Thought kind of died.
it was damage reduction and then healing. Damage reduction, then healing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because it made a
And then we-
difference.
Yeah.
Probably not, but whatever.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't have because our gear was so high. But
Yeah.
just having the cooldown spread was nice.
Yep. But then not even just the logistical things, but just some of the fights are totally different in 10
Yeah.
versus 25. We'll probably, I don't want us to talk about it too much because we'll go about it a lot in the actual episode because I've ran into Carl about this so much. But Immersius and Nazgrim are completely different fights.
Oh my
depending on
god,
raid
it's
size.
insane. Yeah.
But we'll save that for another day.
And it's funny how like shamans is what gives us trouble
I
then
know.
on 25 man because we had too much DPS.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That's such a unique problem to have.
Right? I don't know any other raid that I've ever said
Well,
that.
I'm sure at one point, like progression rates, like Blood Legion had that problem.
Maybe.
But you know,
Maybe. So the state of the raid is we're gonna kill Siegecrafter. Screw him. He's complicated, but we'll get him. He's also with us today. I forgot to mention that. He's chilling there in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, we decided he's a hunter.
We did.
I
Engineering.
think I made that call.
You know what? I don't think anyone noticed that I gave Thok the monk color last time because
He's a Mistweaver, right?
yeah, he heals himself by biting things. That's the most monk thing I can imagine. So I thought I was really fucking clever, and no one pointed it out.
No one
So,
said a thing.
Screw you guys. I'm
Sorry,
clever.
Johnny.
Anyway, we made
Those
Siegecrafter
bastards.
a hunter because there is no engineer class, so he's a hunter, basically. And that's
Yeah.
the state of the raid. 10 man's different. We're doing it again. We're gonna kill Garrosh and screw him. And so last episode we did the very first time we did a segment called "Do You Even Lore, Bro?" which went over really well. We had a whole bunch of requests to bring it back. Apparently everyone likes lore and likes listening to me tell stories. I don't quite have Carl's voice, but you know, I'll take the compliment.
Oh, your voice is way better than Carl's, Johnny. Don't.
You're too kind.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
Carl uses a voice enhancer. I feel like when I meet him in person, it's just gonna be a squeaky voice.
I'd be like, hey guys.
That'd be so funny.
Nice to meet you, James.
All right, so we're bringing back "Do You Even Lore, Bro?" And so last time we talked about warlords, specifically about how there were 2 timelines, an alpha and a beta timeline, and how they were interacting with one another, and how this story wasn't actually about changing the past. It was about having a different future and how it interacts with the present, and it had nothing to do with traditional time travel of changing the past. However, in Warcraft's lore, there are examples of people going back in the same timeline and changing the past. The biggest example is in the War of the Ancients novel, which is an older one. It's been around for a long time, but it's a really good one. And interestingly, there's actually been a machinima that's been being made for the War of the Ancients. And,
Really?
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-part thing, and the first part just came out like last week. It's like an hour and a half, and as machinimas go, it's really good. You know, it's not really a feature-length film or a feature film, but it's really good for a machinima. If you're at all interested in the lore of the War of the Ancients, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out for. And it's been the result of years and years of work. But anyway, in the War of the Ancients, basically, the War of the Ancients was when the Night Elves, who controlled all of the continent of Kalimdor. Azeroth at the time only had one continent. And the Night Elves ruled at the center of it at the Well of Eternity, which was the source of all magic. And they began experimenting with the magic, which drew the attention of the Burning Legion, who are always looking for ambitious races to join their ranks. So the Burning Legion, Sargeras in particular, started whispering through the Well of Eternity to some of the Night Elves there, and sort of drew them into trying to summon Sargeras himself onto Azeroth. Anyway, the whole War of the Ancients was a splinter group of the Night Elves led by Malfurion and Illidan and Tyrande battling off the demonic invasion of the Burning Legion, who managed to get quite a few people in, quite a few demons in, including Manaroth, who would later go on to corrupt the orcs. Yes. And this happened 10,000 years before now, so very long time ago.
And that was the Manaroth we saw in the cinematic, right?
The
Yeah.
same one, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was Beta Manaroth. So
Yeah, it's like a different
Manaroth from a
timeline. Oh,
different
right,
timeline.
okay.
It's the same guy, just a different timeline of him. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, time travel is confusing. Anyway, the War of the Ancients involved the splinter group of Night Elves against the other Night Elves, led by Queen Ajara, and the Satyr, I forgot his name, but and all the demons battling them, and it's called the War of the Ancients because a bunch of the ancients, such as Cenarius, came to help the Night Elves fight on Azeroth's side. They were a bunch of demigods, usually half animal, who may or may not have created a whole lot of the races on Azeroth, many of whom died in the war. Anyway, in the unchanged storyline for the War of the Ancients, Malfurion and Illidan and all them worked together to drive off the demons successfully, and that was about the end of it, sort of. There's a whole lot of fallout for that, but what happens later on, about 10,000 years later, and it would have been a couple, maybe 3 or 4 years ago in Warcraft timeline, Nozdormu, the Bronze Dragon, goes missing. He's responsible for all the timelines, and it's kind of a bad thing when the dragon who can go anywhere in time is nowhere to be found. So, a disparate group of people, including the Archmage Ronan, the dragon Crassus, and the orc Broxigar, who I believe is the brother of Sarfang, go to investigate where he is. They didn't all go for the same goal, but they ended up doing it anyway. And they all get sent 10,000 years back in time to the War of the Ancients. And here, in this war, they already have knowledge of what's going to happen. And they kind of help the Night Elves prepare, get ready for this invasion, and essentially do really nothing to change the timeline for some reason, but there were changes in the timeline because Cenarius did meet orcs. Some of the Night Elves met orcs 10,000 years before the orcs ever came to Azeroth. One orc. There's an interesting scene where Crassus, who is a red dragon, I think I called him a blue dragon earlier, but he's a red dragon, meets Alexstrasza, his consort, but knowing that she would be taken captivity by the Dragon Ball clan some 10,000 years later, and does nothing to warn her because he can't. A whole lot of interesting things happen in the War of the Ancients. But the important thing here is that this time travel story is not one of an alpha timeline meeting a beta timeline. It's an example of characters from the alpha timeline going backward into the alpha timeline and changing the alpha timeline. So
So it's different than what WoD's going to be because we're going into a beta timeline. So.
Exactly. They're distinct time travel stories. Most IPs and time travel stories will use either one or the other, where it's either you can create an alternate future or you can change the past. You can't do both. But Warcraft seems to embrace it, having both of them for some reason, just to make things even more complicated.
Yeah.
It's going to be so funny when we're doing progression in WoD, and we down a boss, and Johnny's going to have to explain to everybody what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, who's this guy and why does he matter? Like, I'm just happy he's dead.
Yeah, a whole lot of.
Oh, that's going to be funny.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Some of the early raid bosses we're seeing are definitely characters from lore, like Kargath Shatterhand.
Oh my god, that's going to be it's going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
Who, he actually died in Outland in the Alpha timeline. He was killed in the Citadel, Hellfire Citadel, I believe.
Here's a question for you. Do you actually think Grom's going to be the final boss, like was leaked kind of in that dev interview?
I'm hoping they have a big twist for it. I think
they will.
I think they've pretty much said that he will, but I think there's going to be a twist. I expected the twist would be that Kill Jaden or Archimonde would show up. The beta Kill Jaden or the beta Archimonde would show up in the middle of the fight, but they've outright said that that's not going to happen, so we'll see. I'm hoping it'll be something really interesting and that they've got some big twist for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be alright with Grom. I mean, I know people are really upset because it's another orc, but I don't know. Grom's way more badass than Garrosh, so.
That's true.
Like.
That is true. One of the most significant things to come out of the changed storyline from the War of the Ancients is Broxigar, the orc, was given an axe of wood made by Cenarius. It was an incredibly powerful weapon. There have been very few weapons capable of rivaling it. And at one point, Sargeras himself partially manifested in Azeroth from the Well of Eternity. And Broxigar charged at him and was actually able to wound Sargeras by himself. This is an incredible feat because Sargeras was one of the Titans who shaped everything of Azeroth. All of it. Created life out of rock. And this guy got wounded by a mortal orc. Pretty big deal.
Shit.
Broxigar is dead. He died in the war. Which creates an interesting thing where he actually died 10,000 years before he was born. So, time travel's confusing. That's kind of the moral of the story.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know if there's a way to tell that whole story without being really meandering like I was. Probably, but I'll take it.
Johnny, have they mentioned anything about old gods for warlords?
Yes, we know that there are old gods on Draenor. The Arakoa, for example, are in Outland, in the Alpha timeline. They're a broken and fallen species because they tried to summon, at least supposedly, because they tried to summon an old god which corrupted them and ruined most of them. We know that there are elemental lords on Draenor, just like there are on Azeroth, because one of them is summoned in Shadowmoon Valley, Ragnaros' equivalent, in the actual Outland. So we know that there are old gods on Draenor. We don't know very much about them, virtually nothing. We just know that they're there. So that'll be an interesting avenue to explore. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Huge fan of the old gods.
Yeah, that's one thing that's always fascinated me is the old gods, because they're kind of mysterious and don't know a lot about them.
I'm really looking forward to them.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Nice.
All right, so I guess that means it's about time. I told you at the beginning that we had a big announcement for you guys, and you can see it on your screen. We got a new logo. Man, that looks so good.
Oh man, yeah! Shout outs, man. That's fucking insane.
Our good friends
Swarly.
Zulatrix and Swarly, they both worked really hard. I don't actually have Swarly's version of it live right now. I've got,
okay.
I've got Zul's up there, but You can't
They
see a
both
whole
look
lot
awesome.
of it right now, but
Yeah.
Zool hand drew this logo for us, and he edited it for us, and wow, it looks good. And Swarley's going to be doing some more touch-up on it and give us an even better version. And wow, that's a nice logo.
Dude, Swarley's with you and Carl. That's so cool. With you guys on each side of the logo, that's gonna be so sweet.
Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll have that one for the next episode, and we can
Yeah.
showcase our awesome logo.
Kid's
from the
talented.
guy.
Does he like do that for a living, or is he just?
He does web design, I know.
Oh yeah, so probably a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
he
sweet.
said that he just taught himself all this stuff, right?
That's what he said.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, I'll be going to school for it. I'm like, for what? Teaching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you need to go to school?
Right?
So
So-
It's
definitely,
really good.
definitely shout outs to Zool and Zooltrix and Swarley for putting a whole lot of work into this logo for us. It looks good.
Thanks a lot, guys.
But I don't know. The logo's good enough that we could make a business out of it.
Yes. And I suppose that is a perfect transition into what I'm about to announce. So basically, we have decided to start a gaming house. We are going to Florida. James' current house that he's in right now, we will be renting. We have about 6 of us who are committed to go down there. And we're really excited about it. We plan on making a documentary. We plan on streaming. We plan on getting sponsors and building Mythic into an actual business that encompasses not only WoW rating, but hopefully other games as well, and making it into a real brand that, you know, can make money and support people. And, you know, the dream is one day to be able to pay our guys to raid and have some really awesome things available to us. So we've been really working hard on that. We're actually already
Oh my
incorporated in Florida.
I cannot believe that was that easy. I got like the business papers and stuff right here at my desk. Like, it's legit.
I mean, it's not hard once you figure out what to do, but that's the hardest thing is like, oh my God, what do we have to do now? Like, so we also made a Kickstarter, and that actually just launched now. So hopefully you guys will go in there and check it out and, you know, get us some views so that it's maybe higher on the page or whatever. We're also going to launch a Reddit that hopefully everybody can go and upvote and maybe comment on and, you know, get us some notoriety there.
Yeah, it'd be really helpful.
But yeah, the Kickstarter, like, I had to go through 4 or 5 times on the Amazon thing, just back and forth, emailing them just to get it all set up, just because it's just so ridiculous. Like, the instructions are never easy. And I think that's what deters a lot of people from, you know, starting their own business and stuff. It's like, where do I start? You know, and obviously I went to business school, but I don't remember any of that shit. And
You went to business school and I had to go talk to lawyers, Carl? Like, come.
it's a lawyer question, dude. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't go to lawyer school. What the fuck?
Lawyer school, very good.
So basically, yeah, this is our first time starting a business, and regardless of what they teach you in school, they never prepare you for this kind of thing. So if we had to do it again, obviously I would know exactly what to do. But this is our first time through, so it's going to be a little bumpy. But yeah, we're going to be tight on funds. So if anybody wants to donate, absolutely, we would love that. Really appreciate your support. Otherwise, you know, you guys will get to see firsthand probably what we're doing for the most part. But we're really excited to make it happen. I personally am probably going to get a part-time job. A few other guys do that to pay for rent and food and that kind of stuff for what we need. And then, like we said, we're going to try to stream and make a documentary and build funds for the business and, you know,
Yeah.
see where we can go with it.
Also, on the Kickstarter, there's like we thought of a lot of really cool ways to give back people who donate. So you guys should check that out because there's some really cool stuff, especially when you get up there. Like, that's some cool stuff, man. Like the weekend stuff. That's gonna be, if someone does that, that would be so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
To like record, that would be
yeah,
that would be
really
amazing.
cool.
So so I guess for those of our viewers who are in the guild, what are these guys that are going to be moving down? Let's talk some details.
Okay, well, me, obviously, I'm from Chicago, so I'll be going down there and maybe picking up you and Noah on the way.
Mhm.
You guys are both from Virginia.
Yeah.
Tamarin from Texas. Also, we have Zach from Kansas, also known as Cow Striker. Oh, of course, Tamarin's Kai Sinel.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. People probably don't know their real names.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
do you know Noah's character name? That one always escapes me.
It's Noah.
I know.
Oh, is it really?
Yo, you know what his OG character name was?
Cannabis?
Cannabis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he, one of my friends
Yeah.
reported him, and then he had to change it.
Your friends reported him, legit. Fair enough. And then, of course, James has the house that we'll be renting, so he'll be down there. So, yeah, that's the OG list that we're starting out with. And, you know, hopefully if, you know, people decide to move on or something, we can have somebody else come in and, you know, be able to pay for their room and board and all that kind of stuff and have them be an employee of Mythic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Actual
So,
employees.
that's the-
We are an actual corporation. We are registered with both the
it's
state
insane.
of Florida and the federal government. I believe we've actually created the stocks, though we haven't like done anything with them.
Yeah,
yet.
we have what was it, 1,000 or 10,000?
I think we went either 10 or 100,000.
I think we went.
Okay,
One of
yeah.
those two. So yeah, we are a legitimate corporation, and like we said, the dream is to be able to pay you guys eventually once we get things rolling and expand into other, you know, games and stuff like that. And we definitely have a very, very exciting vision of the future, and
Oh my God.
we just it's all work and maybe a little bit of you know, God's blessing from this point on. But I think we got the talent and the you know, personalities to make this work. So.
Yeah.
Pretty funny how we started it. Was kind of just like me coming out of nowhere, just like, yeah, we should do this.
I guess we should talk about
Yeah.
that because it was after I think our last drunk flex, and so of course I was hammered.
Well, we had been talking about it before that, but kind of like it was kind of just
It
like,
was
oh,
just
we should
whimsical,
plan.
yeah. It was, you know,
Yeah.
and I had mentioned it to Johnny like what, probably 3-4 months ago. I
Yeah.
was like, dude, we should do a reality show. We should all live together, blah blah, blah, you know. And like I wasn't 100% serious, but I wanted it to happen.
But
Yeah,
And
when
Johnny
I
was like,
heard
oh,
you-
you should check out. I think it was TSM. You
It was
told me.
TSM.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
told him to.
So I watched that, and I'm like, damn, kids are actually doing this? Like, this
Yeah.
is viable? All this kind of stuff. And then James and I started talking about it when he came in the guild, and he's like, yeah, dude, we should do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's do it. You know, and then, but we're, you know, neither of us expected really anything to come of it until one day, I think it was Mark,
Yeah, dude,
Right?
oh my God.
one of our
I really wish we
warlock
recorded
recruits. Dude, this guy was just going nuts
He
in
was
Mumble.
so happy about it, man.
He was
Oh.
so like drunk and just sharing his opinion, and it was great. And then I guess somehow he got us to the point in those like 2-3 hours where we were just like, dude, we can do this.
Yeah, no,
and we
I
should
remember-
do this.
I remember Carl saying like, dude, we just need to do it. And I was like, yeah, I agree. And no, Carl was like, no, James, we just need to like do it. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, I'm down. Let's do it. And he was like, all right, well, where are we gonna do it? And I was like, and then literally, that's how it snowballed and like out of control. Like the next day, we put together spreadsheets, and then we were talking because right then it was just me and Carl, and we were like, Carl, we can't just do it, us two. We have to get, you know, Noah and John. And then we were like, dude, we have to get Johnny. We were like, how are we gonna sell Johnny? We really need Johnny.
You guys
And
pulled
Carl
me
was
into
like-
Mumble one night, and we're just throwing everything you had at me for like 2 hours trying to
Oh my
convince
God,
me.
dude, we talked about that meeting to you. Me and Carl probably spent like at least 18 hours putting together that presentation. Like, not even joking, dude.
Oh man.
Like, that's how important it was to us. We were like, we have to get Johnny, you know? Like,
I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be a tough sell.
yeah.
You convinced me.
Yeah, so that was the best feeling. I fucking was jumping up and down all over the place when I heard you decided to go, because it was like, now it's not just 2, it's like 3, when 3's a lot better than 2.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. And Zach, of course.
yeah,
he
Zach was an
down
easy
me.
sell.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
fuck? We just had to ask him.
that's
Noah was a pretty easy sell, and then
Yeah.
Kai was, I don't know, like Kai seemed, you did most of the Kai. I didn't really talk to Kai much
he
about
just, you know, like I was like, Kai, you want in? He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
There you go.
and that's the OG6 right there.
Mm-hmm. There were a couple other people we were talking to, but I think those are the ones we're ready to announce.
Yeah.
Uh,
The secrets.
so we've definitely got plans to try to build our brand, as it were, to get out there. We've got a website we're going to be building. We're going to be putting together guides, so we're going to be looking for knowledgeable people who we can trust and put together some good things.
Really good guides.
I suppose I'll be doing that since I've got a little bit of a writing
Oh,
background.
Yeah. And, you know, like, we want to separate ourselves from Noxic and Icy Veins and all that kind of stuff. And I think the big thing that we decided on is the why factor. You know, like, why are you doing these things?
Yeah.
And we go in fight by fight, and we say, okay, so I'm doing a Guardian Druid, of course, and I would say, okay, I use these specific talents on this fight, and this is why, so that you can do this, or that you can do that. And that's kind of the thing that, you know, Noxic and Icy Veins doesn't really tell you. They're like,
Hold on.
okay, well, use this. This is your opener, but there's no reason why you push these buttons in this order. It just gives you the highest DPS. Or
Like a good
whatever.
example is on Paragon, or no, not Paragons, on Siegecrafter. You start the pull, Carl, and you pull him back to where we're going to be tanking him for the first part. But once you got your second stack, I take him for about 1 second. Do you know why I do that? It's a very specific reason.
Well, it gives you riposte, right?
That's exactly right. So Riposte is a passive for Blood Decays and also Prot Warriors, which converts some of our parry and dodge rating into crit whenever we parry or dodge an attack. And I take him right there, right shortly after the pull, for exactly as long as it takes me to parry or dodge one attack. That way I can trigger Riposte, and then I can cast my diseases on Siegecrafter with the Riposte, the Bloodlust, and the Potion all active so that I can have super diseases ticking the whole fight. Otherwise, I'd just have subpar diseases the whole time, which is why I'm actually able to do a decent amount of damage on that fight,
Mhm.
even for a Blood Decay. These are
Yeah.
the kind of things that you aren't going to find anywhere else.
Oh, for sure. No, you would. Even hardcore players, like if you ask a lot of like hardcore progression raiders, they're not even gonna want to explain that, because it's
Yeah.
so much. They're just gonna be like, all right, yeah, just put up your diseases. Yeah, it's good enough. And you're gonna be like, all right, that's what you're gonna think. Okay, all I have to do is put up my diseases. But like those minuscule things are the actual things that separate like a good raider and like a progression raider. So,
Exactly. Makes
that's
a
what we're
huge
looking
difference,
for.
too. Like,
Oh,
the
massive.
people looking to go that extra level need that kind of thing. And it's
yeah.
nowhere to be found, or if it is, it's buried somewhere.
Yeah.
Way
So we
buried.
want to make this easily acceptable or accessible.
Accessible, yeah. So that's what we want to do. We want to have these in-depth guides that not only cover the basic things that you can find everywhere else, but more importantly give you like fight-by-fight breakdowns of how to do things. Maybe like for Destruction Warlocks, it can tell you about how to properly manage the missile timer on Chaos Bolt, which has a really long missile time, as everyone knows. It takes a long time for it to actually hit the target and the damage
Mhm.
to register. And
Yep.
I'm sure that our Warlocks have to think hard about, is it worth using Chaos Bolt on this thing right now? Will it hit in time? And all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
These are the kind of things you're not going to find anywhere.
Another example is how we taunt on 2 on Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's a great one. We've modified some of the existing tank strategies to make them a little bit easier for us, and they've made big differences. We did
Yep.
that on Juggernaut. We do that on Dark Shamans. We did it on Malkrok for a little bit.
Yep.
And this is
Yeah.
the kind of knowledge that we want to be able to share. And we're going to be using our brand as Mythic, our website, to kind of platform all that stuff.
Yeah. MythicRating.com is actually live right now. I haven't put a whole lot on it. It's actually, just a placeholder. I did a little drag and drop stuff, but we're hoping to get some real information up on it very quickly and, start raking in the profits.
Yeah.
We're going to be going to be keeping an eye out for sponsors and trying to make our name in WoW through all this stuff.
Yeah.
And probably eventually expand into other games and see what we can do. See if we can become a big esports
a
organization
Dignitas kind of thing.
like Dignitas, who are in every game.
One thing I think that really would separate us from someone like a Dignitas, though, is like, you look at the guys like, well, I guess Dignitas is kind of like the worst one, but I think our guild and group is a lot more, I don't know, social and like would be much better in a documentary. I mean, like, when I think of Dignitas, the only one that appeals to, as a streamer is like PewDiePie, and like, he's fun to watch, but that's the only guy. But like, I feel like the guys we're bringing to the gaming house, like, it's gonna be a really interesting documentary. Like,
true. All of
there's
our
gonna be
guys-
drama, there's gonna be all kinds of stuff.
All of our
It's gonna
guys
be
have
great.
some pretty good personality.
Yeah.
Also, don't you dare diss Skara. I will stab you.
Oh no, I love Scar.
You better love Skara.
Scar is probably, if I was watching a stream and I was trying to learn, Scar is one of the first guys to go to.
Yeah, that's what
Love
you
Skara.
Yeah, so that's our big news. We got a new logo. We got a business. We got a plan. We got a gaming house. We got stuff, pretty much.
And I think we're looking to move in, mid-October?
Mid to late October, I think so.
Yeah. So that's not that far away.
Nope.
No.
A little more
That's
than a
so
month.
close.
That'll be, well, before Warlords drops, obviously, and so we'll be documenting everything that it takes in preparation to do as well as we want.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
going to be really, really interesting because not a lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's funny because me and Carl were talking about it, and a big part of it was, like, me and Carl play competitive sports, so like we were looking at like rating and stuff like this. Like, no one, I mean, it's competitive, but it's like competitive, but everybody's like friends, you know. And we were talking about like, what if we just said like one day like we're the best, we're the people who are gonna do all this stuff, and we don't care what other guilds are gonna do. We're the best, and that's how it's gonna be. And we do things other guilds don't do, like maybe stream progression, something like that. Just like we are gonna be better than them, and we're gonna have that mentality. It's like me and Carl, like we're just like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's just be better than them.
That's going to be really interesting to see the reactions when we stream.
Oh my god, dude, you're really gonna. If we get US top 10 streaming, dude, we're gonna get a lot of haters, and we're gonna get a lot of people who are like, man, these guys are here to play. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting.
I'm
That's gonna be
excited.
really-
I want to stir stuff up because that's,
That's how you get attention, and that's
Exactly.
and that's fun. That's the thing people don't understand is that tension and that, I like this guild because they stream, and I like this guild because they're not in your face. They're kind of laid back and they're good. That's good for the game. That's not even just good for a guild. That's good
Yeah.
for the game.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing we talked about, like college sports and pro sports. They have the rivalries, and that's why
Yeah.
people are so interested. It's like, oh
Exactly.
God, I hate that school, and I love my school, and that's why
Yeah.
it's so interesting. If everybody
Yeah.
liked each other, they're like, oh yeah, good game. This is
Yeah,
cool.
it would be a spectator sport that really wasn't. Only
And
people
that's-
who really enjoyed the game would watch it.
And that's kind of what they have at the top right now. Like I'm sure Method and Blood Legion don't really like each other, but it's nothing like, oh, we're way better than Method. Fuck them.
Yeah,
we're gonna kick their ass, and like that's what we're bringing to the table.
exactly.
We're gonna be better than those fuckers.
There's plenty of guys, Zach, me, who could easily just go on just randomly,
Oh yeah, just
fuck
me
those
headed up.
guys. We're better than them
For
right
sure.
now. Like,
Well, and
you
when
know.
Johnny gets on Final Boss, he's totally gonna talk shit about
That is
both of them.
that is my goal. I am gonna get someone from Mythic on
I was
Final
actually
Boss.
thinking we should probably actually email Final Boss sometime soon, because they
Might as
could
well.
be really good at promoting like what we're doing. So,
Absolutely.
maybe get you on there and talk to them about our goals and stuff, and then talk some shit about Blood Legion.
I'm not much
I'll
of a
rig
shit
out.
talker.
Oh my god, dude.
The only person I'll shit talk is Carl because I'm a better tank than he is.
Oh,
Legit.
There you go.
that's the. Dang, I didn't know Johnny had that in him, Carl.
Yeah, see, Carl knows it's true. He does more damage, but I'm the better tank.
I don't deny that. I've played DPS my whole life.
There you go.
I play tank like a DPS. I mean,
That you
that's-
do.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
that's pretty ridiculous, but
Yeah. Worth.
yeah, I'm really excited about the way we're going because in the last basically 3 years of my gaming, I've always kind of been like I've always been the guy pushing oh, we should go, we should do more, and it's super exhausting to always be that guy.
Yeah.
It's nice
it
to
really
be in a
is.
place where it's not just you saying let's go 7 days or let's make a gaming house. You're not just the crazy guy. You're with a bunch of other people who are like, yeah, I agree, let's do it. We're all
Everyone's
crazy.
like, no, I just play this game to play a game,
Yeah, it's
man. And you're like, dude, why the fuck
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to be the best?
Yeah, no, I don't get that. It blows my mind. Me and Carl have said the same thing 100 times to each other. Some of these people are just straight up. They really need to just grow a sack, play some sports, and learn to take constructive criticism. Because at the end of the day, when I tell you you suck, it's not because you actually suck. Well, it is because you actually suck. But it's I'm telling it to you because I want you to get better. Because I
Writing that
need you to
down.
get better. It's, so
Let's
it's
see.
just...
What was the quote? If I tell you you suck, it's not because you suck. Actually, it is.
Well, it is
because
because
you
you
suck.
suck.
But,
That's brilliant.
I think me and Carl had the analogy the other day of because we were talking about progression and how what kind of roster size, kind of just speculating, and we were talking about well, what if we have 24 and we have to sit one guy who's usually a starter, and it's for progression, and just because his class isn't good, and the analogy I made to Carl was yo, if you were in a hockey game and you weren't performing, and your coach took you out, would you sit there and bitch at him and cry at him or debate him? No, you'd be off the fucking team. That wouldn't be. You know, it's just stuff like that. Like people realizing like we're all on a team and we're all competing. Oh man, that would be.
Well, and that's the number one thing, and like you and me bring that as, you know, with an athletic background, we totally understand that, and that's been drilled into our heads since day one. Is like, you are not special. It's not about you. Nobody gives a fuck about you. This team wins as a team.
Exactly.
You know, and it's the same thing that we're really going to have to start drilling into people, you know, rating. It's like, guys, you wear that mythic tag, and we kill whoever
that's
first in the world.
That's
exactly. You get that mythic tag. You know, that's what you get. I don't care if you sat every single fight. You still wear the mythic tag, man. You were in there, and then afterwards, when everything's on farm, you get all your gear, and you get to walk around in your mythic gear, and like, you know, who gives a fuck? Like, you're part of the team. You know?
For sure. It's
So it's going to take a while to reverse that psychology, but you know, if you keep telling somebody something over and over, they'll eventually start believing it.
Yeah.
But it's a team effort, man, and people got to realize that, you know. Like, gear is not important. You can get all that shit and farm. What's important is killing that boss first, and we're going to do whatever it takes to do that. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like, you know, like, really, like, it's funny, because when I started recruiting a little bit, it was really easy to notice. You know, I had all these funny stories. Johnny, I would look up people on WoW, you know, the forums, and they would be like, hardcore player looking to raid Tuesday and Thursday nights. I'm like, wait, you hardcore? You want to raid Tuesday and Thursday? Like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, to me, and like I said this to Carl the other day, to me, saying you're a casual player is like, and a lot of, this is so elitist that it's ridiculous. It's the most elitist thing I've ever said. But
I doubt
saying
that.
you're,
I bet you could say
saying you're a casual player, to me, when I hear that, it's just like, oh, this guy doesn't invest 100% of what he has into what he's doing. So he puts the brand casual over it to disguise it. And that's like my view of things, because like when I play this game, I started it.
That might actually be accurate. I think that when they do something like that, they're saying that they don't want to be investing all of their effort into the game. And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's their decision, obviously. You know,
that's not the player we're going to be using.
But that's not what we, you know.
I think there's a lot of people who adopt those terms without realizing what it entails as well.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, well, first of all, let's talk about, you know, current raid, and like, okay, we've had to sit some people for the 10-man and stuff like that, and, you know, it sucks.
Had some good players, too.
Yeah, it sucks. People got to sit and stuff, but I don't think they realize that, okay, this is for the raid team. This is for the betterment of the raid team. It's like, all they're thinking about is, why am I sitting? Why am I not in? You know, it's the whole why me attitude. It's like, dude, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. We just need this for this, or, you know, this guy to do this and stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, I could do that.
Is a really good example of that, because we need people who can handle the belts. That means that they have to have the knowledge and the experience to do it, because it takes a lot of time to train someone else on it. And that's time that we could be killing things.
Don't get me started on the belts, John.
Yeah.
Not only
that, but some classes are way better suited for it than others. Like paladins are really good for it.
Yeah.
And,
Warriors are Warriors good for it, or is he just?
Warriors are very good.
Yeah. Okay.
And mages are really bad for it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yep.
And that's why we don't have any mages. Also, we don't have any mages because fuck mages.
That's true. And hunters.
Since day one, I've been telling Carl that mages and hunters are worthless because all hunters are bad and all mages are flaky. And you know what? It's so true, isn't it, Carl? He didn't believe me.
We have no mages left. We had, like 4?
Yeah.
Oh.
And hunters, they're just, bad.
We had one good hunter, and then he left.
DB.
He's bad, dude.
Dude, he's not bad. He's moderately... Dude, DB, the problem is, and I've been harping this to you for a long time, Carl, DB's not bad. He's just like 4 years old, dude. He's the most immature person I've ever met in my life. And the thing is, like, honestly, hopefully he watches this and listens to me. No, because honestly, I love the kid to death. I've seen him do some crazy shit raiding. Like, I told Carl, the guy is a good player. If he adopted the mentality of, instead of kind of just like, he makes a lot of excuses for himself because he's young, you know? He's like, oh, I don't want to say I fucked up on something, so I stared at my action bars, you know? It's just like, dude, grow a sack, just play the game the way you can play, and put 100% into it, you'll be a great player. And that's the sad thing. Like, I hope he watches it. I hope he sees what I'm saying. Because you can do it, man. I promise. You're a good player. Just fucking do it. You know? I've been fucking debating this with so many people who say, like, you know, DB's just a troll, you know? Yeah, he's a troll. He's he's a douchebag sometimes, but he's a good player, and that's
Isn't that what DV stands for?
Yeah. But I see it deep within him, very, very deep. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and it's getting to the point where like that's the kind of thing that we don't have time to explain to somebody.
yeah, exactly, and that's the shitty thing. That's
And like you either get it or you don't. Like we can't sit around and wait for you to understand that this isn't about me. This is about a team and killing things as fast as we possibly can. And I'll get my gear later after everything's on farm and like that kind of stuff. Like people need to understand that, and we can't sit here and just fucking harp on it over and over.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing I talked to Carl about. Like,
Yeah.
So I do agree with Carl on that point, but I do see potential in the guy, the kid, because he's a kid.
Yeah, that was more of a blanket statement too, not just necessarily Deathbringer, but he's a good example.
Yeah, but he's a great example of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you tell me to yell at him, I'm like, dude, I don't have the time or energy. I got to worry about 24 other people. Like he just needs to fucking grow up. So
Yeah.
Carl, being in charge is a lot of work.
it really is, man. We knew we
It's
were
overrated.
getting into though.
Yeah.
It's it's really rewarding, and that's like one
It
of the
is
things that we did coaching, and we both have coached.
I love Coach.
It's,
Won my first tournament, Carl.
it's
I told you
incredible,
that.
and like killing a boss is totally rewarding in that sense. Everybody finally gets their job, they understand it, they learn, and it's like, okay, we're getting better here, and that's the kind of thing that is really rewarding. And it really is a thankless job, Johnny. You're right. Like sometimes, like I talk to you, I feel really lonely at the top sometimes. It's just the nature of the thing, and like I'm fine with that. It's how it goes. But
No, yeah, I have so much respect for what you and Johnny do, dude. Like, you have no idea, because I've tried and I've failed at it, for not even World of Warcraft in multiple games. It's really hard to do what you guys do.
Yeah.
So, like, mad respect, The way you guys pushed hardcore into players, but still don't drive them away that are, developing, because a lot of players you guys have, you've actually developed, which is honestly awesome.
That is 100% intentional.
Yeah.
We put a lot of effort into maintaining a good atmosphere in the guild.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that I was saying earlier, that how we toe the line. Yeah, I honestly still don't know how we managed to do it, because there are times where I just feel like saying fuck everyone. You all
Yeah, I
suck.
know you do. I know you do.
And then there are other times where I'm like, man, our group's so good, and I want to coddle them and all that kind of stuff. So it's been really impressive how we still, we've kind of managed to take the right steps and all this stuff, and it's good. It's a testament to us and our leadership that everyone's still around, and we're glad to have you. So
Yeah. It honestly changed me too, being in the atmosphere. I remember the first couple days of raiding with you guys. I'd never used Mumble before, so I was like, I don't know if you've used TeamSpeak. When you mute it, it says you're muted, and if you're unmute, it says you're unmuted. Like in Mumble, it's just like a ping. So I kind of thought I was muted, and we were on Juggernaut, and I think it was Asuna that Mr. Cooldown. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Cast your shit!" And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not muted." I was like, "Oh my god." Oh man, I was like, "Holy shit!" That was like my fourth day. I was like, "Oh my goodness."
You
But,
were
yeah.
the one who was talking with the frickin' mechanical keyboard with the open mic.
Yeah,
I remember that.
oh yeah,
I had to
Yeah,
yell at you
dude, it was
many
so bad
times.
because in Vent, I never muted my mic. So people always do when I was mad, because it was like, and they're like, "Oh my god, he's raging." He is raging at someone right now. So
The
that
machine
officer's
board.
chat, yeah, officer chat is blowing up right now. Like, but yeah, I got a new mechanical keyboard. It's not as loud, so.
good.
So yeah, that's our big news. Mythic is now not only a guild, not only a raid team, although I guess the raid team is still Team Short Bus. And
Oh, that's gotta change.
no way, man.
Dude,
And
Carl.
we're now business, and going forward, we got big plans and big dreams, and we think we have a really good chance of making them real.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So excited, man. Most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, honestly.
Yeah,
So.
I'm right there.
I mean, so I'm 100% ready to, I think that's also another thing me and Carl talked about. We have like people who are like 100% ready to invest, whatever it takes to make it successful. I think that's going to differentiate us from other people, who have tried. Like when we go down there, 100% is going into it,
Well, and I think that was, one of the things that was thrown around a few times is like, I'm totally cool with sleeping on the floor and eating ramen to make this
Yeah,
work. You know, like
exactly,
I'll sleep on the fucking street. It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
this is our dream and we're gonna make it work. So
Yeah, exactly.
fuck everyone else.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think that's the mentality you have to succeed, especially these days. There's so much out there, you know, and like obviously we're doing kind of a niche thing that, you know, maybe there's not a whole lot of competition, but it's still going to take a lot to get people interested and, you know,
A lot of
watching
money
and all that
and
kind of
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's a big risk, you
Yeah.
know, when you think about it. So
Oh, yeah.
that's what's going to draw people in, though, is that risk, you know?
it's a huge risk. Yeah,
Yeah.
going down there, you know, no nest egg or anything to live off of, and starting a part-time job and
Working your ass off to make a
Yep.
business successful. Yeah.
exactly.
It's going to be fun, though.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
Even if it fails, I still think it is probably one of the best times of our lives. You know, if you think about it, like, you know, living in a gaming house, just going hard during WAD, that's going to be fun as shit. Just that alone, you know?
Yeah.
Johnny's going to be 50, living on a beach, rich with his wife, and he's going to miss the days when Carl woke up and came in and jumped on him while he was in bed.
Oh, God, dude.
He's going to
Yo.
miss that. That's how I'm going to wake everyone up.
I'm going to
just so
break
you
an
know.
arm.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. I'm going to break you in half.
Oh.
Knowing you, you're probably going to wake me up in the middle of the night so that you can go over some strat on the whiteboard.
Probably.
Me and Carl don't even sleep. That's the problem.
That's
No,
true,
you
we
fucking don't. You're always trying to do work at 4 in the morning, and I'm like, guys, go to bed.
Hey, this
Yeah.
is getting done.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best time to do it.
I remember it was like a week ago. Johnny was like, go to sleep. You need to sleep.
You'd been up for like 36 hours.
Well, hey, man, we had important shit to get done.
Yeah, we were talking, bro. It's just how shit goes.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be the only adult in this situation. Which is sad, just so you guys know.
Hey, you'll have Kai. I think Kai's an adult, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Could be an adult.
We'll
It's gonna be
find
bad.
out, I guess.
Whenever
Yeah.
we leave the house, we're gonna have to figure out who stays behind to babysit Zach because I'm not leaving him alone.
Oh my god, he's gonna blow up the house, dude. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna grill something."
Yo,
Fuck, give me off.
I thought you put the gasoline on top of the grill.
We'd have to put "fuck get me up" on his tombstone.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's a
Yeah,
shaman.
Get on.
Him and Noah
Get
are
off.
definitely gonna have to share a room.
Oh,
They're
man.
definitely.
That would be dude.
Yeah.
That's a documentary episode right there. That's fucking hilarious.
Yo,
Sounds
you should
cool,
tell
man.
him. You should tell him what my mom suggested for the documentary.
Oh god. So yeah, she was talking about like getting subscriptions and stuff like that, and she was like, "You guys should put cameras in your bedrooms, and we'll call it masturbating with Mythic."
Oh
Like,
man.
man, that's yeah. We,
And then
gonna
Carl was
pass
like,
on
"That's a
that
great
one.
idea."
yeah, we could definitely make some money with that.
Pass on that one, thanks, guys.
Times are
Aw.
rough.
Come on,
Carl
Johnny.
could do it. We've been over this, Carl. You're a bear. You could definitely do it.
That's true. But is that bestiality?
Probably
Oh,
not if it's with
man.
yourself.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
gonna
so. Yeah.
Man, if
Yeah.
I wasn't already gonna title this like big news, I would just title it "Is it bestiality now?" That would have been great.
That's definitely a teaser that it would bring people in.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's a shame I already have a title set aside. That would have been a great one.
Oh man, you could probably put in like parentheses.
No, because that's where I put the guest.
Oh, okay.
You're wasting your beautiful intellect, Carl.
I know.
You need to you need to save your wit for other episodes so that I can.
Well, just
steal
wait for the
it.
documentary when I go bear.
Go bear
you
form.
guys are
Oh,
gonna see
God.
bear form in real
Yeah,
life.
Johnny, dude, when we do this show, we're gonna have like I actually have it perfect set up. I got a couch and then a chair that you're gonna have like the chair, and then you can have it's couch time with Mythic, where like the guests sit on the couch, you interview him, dude. It's gonna be so legit, man.
It'll be good. Yeah, because
it's
like
gonna be sweet.
all of the podcasts will be right there in the house. We'll just have one
Yep.
guy phone in, and Carl and I will practically be right next to each other. Probably
Yeah,
literally
that'd
be
be
right
sweet.
next to each other. It'll be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited.
It'll probably
So-
make my editing work a whole lot easier too,
Yeah,
which at the moment isn't all that much anyway. So you know,
get ready to edit a documentary, dude.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know. We got to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Me and Carl were talking about that today.
Oh,
figure
Johnny.
something out.
Johnny already agrees with me. So
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's about gonna do it. We're a little bit over an hour, so that's a little bit over time, which
Our
is
typical.
acceptable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the big news. We talked a little bit about the War of the Ancients and how WoW is or time travel is handled in WoW. It's really complicated. This is the short version. We had James with us, and he was definitely our most talkative guest to date, except maybe.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
You don't shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
We went
No,
over.
I know
a
I got
little
a
bit.
problem, Carl.
We went over a little bit about the state of the raid, how things are changing. We always seem to have news on that front. Would it be good or bad if we didn't have news on that front one day? I really don't
Dude,
know.
the best news would just be if we got on here and the state of the raid was world
Garage
first.
is dead.
Yeah. World first. That's
Cut
all we gotta
show.
say.
That's it. Be the short
World
show.
first, we'll be at the beach.
No, we'd film it from the beach, dude. Screw that.
That's true, yeah.
And we talked a lot about the business, Mythic Gaming.
Mythic
Inc.,
Gaming Inc. Yep.
based out of Florida. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, that's right. We didn't mention it's actually in Gainesville, University of Florida. So,
Santa Fe as well. Great college for people who can't get into UF, but you know, a lot of opportunities for jobs, school.
who can't
It's
get
like,
into UF? What a garbage school.
yeah,
Them Gators. Let's start that rivalry up.
I hate the Gators, dude. I'm not a Gators fan.
I don't either.
You live right next to them. How can you not be? I don't get. Never mind.
Because I was born in Columbus, Ohio, so I'm a Buckeye fan.
Oh my God, you're the worst person ever. I'm gonna beat your ass every night.
You're from
I'm gonna
Ohio
s-
too. You people.
Me?
Come
I'm gonna
with me. Yeah, you're in
I'm
Ohio.
gonna stuff a pillowcase full
I
of
don't know,
soap.
Ohio.
And eat you.
Are you in Indiana? I live in Chicago, Johnny.
Whatever.
That's
All right,
just
so-
Ohio.
Chicago, Ohio.
Whatever. Anyway, that'll finish up our show. Now that everyone's laughed at me, jerk. All right, and yeah, so we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Thanks again. I'm John. My character is Gravemaw on Black Dragonflight. I'm on Twitter at Gravemaw. Someday I'll figure out a use for that, but I'm not the most social person, so we'll see.
Well, I am Carl. I am Chaishin on Skullcrusher, and I am at Mythic Chaishin on Twitter. I also stream at mythicrating.com or twitch.tv/mythicrating.
The second one eventually.
Yeah.
We need a streamer. And I am James, also known as Zijen, also known as Jobono, and I stream at Twitch/ I think Jobono10, but could be wrong, but hopefully
See if
it's
I can
not.
get a link to it in the description.
Yeah.
Sounds
All right,
good.
so thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.